Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to Green Paw. We're continuing our discussion on Islamic lifestyle. In this episode, we're going to talk about the very important topic of having children in Islam. I'm joined with Brother Dawood. I'm Muhammad, and together we're going to talk about having children in Islam. Is it good to have children? Is it haram not to have children? What are the pros and cons of having children in Islam? Brother Dawood, what do you think? I personally think that it's different from one person to another. Someone might not like having children because it's difficult for them because they can't cover the expenses and they just, they don't feel like having children.
Right.
Or they rather have fewer children, not too many. But then there are some people who have a lot of children. So what do you think about this? Is it necessary to have children in Islam? Or is it even bad not to have children? Because, right now, nowadays, couples, they're not very fond of having children because they think they're going to have too many problems in life. If they have children, they have to buy, different things. They have to provide for their children in different ways. So what do you think?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. It's good to be back. Yeah, it's a very important question, but I think first we need to take a look at the general concept or the general fact of having children and then talk about the variations and the details. So overall, is childbearing, is parenting a virtue? Is it a merit or is it not? There can be no question in Islam. There can be no question that Islam considers having children a merit, a virtue.
It's a natural instinct, in fact.
It's a natural instinct, and it's one that Islam encourages. There's a natural and, I would say, a real bond between parents and children. Okay? And it's one of the, going back to the topic of our last episode, one of the ways of actually attaining happiness is having children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And this is, again, one way where traditional cultures are very different from modern cultures. Modern culture has diverged, I think, from how humanity has conducted itself for the past millennia. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So traditionally, childbearing has been viewed as a virtue, has been viewed as something that contributes to happiness. And that's why you have the phrases in different languages. But for instance, in English, traditionally people refer to their children as the apple of their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's that what that indicates is that having children or children are a source of joy. This is something, well, we can get into it, why in modern culture things have changed so much. But if you agree, I think it would be helpful to read some of the reports, some of the ahadith that we have in the corpus of tradition regarding having children.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Again, this is from the book I translated, entitled The Lighthouse of Knowledge.
Yeah.
By the great scholar Ayad Bosivaladi. So here are some of the reports, some of the ahadith that we have on this topic. Very intriguing ahadith, very insightful, I think. A house in which there are no children is not blessed. A house in which are no children is not blessed. The smell of a child is from the smell of heaven. In other words, the smell of children is
heavenly,
literally speaking. Seek to have children and strive after it. So we're encouraged to actually
to procreate,
basically. Yeah. Yes, thank you. To pursue having children, not to be neutral, whether we have children or not. No, it's something that we have to pursue.
Yeah, but if there's like this person, this woman or this man, they don't feel that need to have children, is there something wrong with them? Like, they're not mature yet. That's what I
Well,
think.
I think it's a matter of how you perceive happiness, right? And what is happiness? If you buy into the Western conception of happiness, where happiness is defined as attaining material success, having a
And
great job,
pleasures.
having material pleasures, well, obviously, having children and parenting is an obstacle to that,
Yeah.
right? But in the traditional conception of, not just in the Islamic conception of happiness, but in the traditional conception of happiness, having children is one of the highest sources of joy and happiness, actually. And in modern culture, they've tried to replace that with artificial substitutes, I would say, having pets.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of talk in recent years about the merits of your family of choice over your biological family. But the value of family is so pronounced in Islam. It's almost like, I know it might sound exaggerated, but it's almost unbelievable when you read the reports and the verses of the Quran that address the question of family and children and parents and parenting. Some of the wordings are even hard to grasp. Okay, like for instance, the concept of Saleh Rahim,
Yeah.
of having good relationships with your kinsfolk, with your family, with your relatives. Okay, there's this interesting story that I happened upon that I heard a couple days ago, which pertains to one of the battles that the Prophet fought in the early years of Islam. One of the companions, I'm not sure if it was the Battle of Badr or the Battle of Uhud, one of those early battles. One of the early Muslims came to the Prophet and told him that my father is not a believer, he's not a Muslim. He's in the army of disbelief. He's in the army of unfaith, and he's one of the soldiers of the army that we're fighting. Am I allowed to slay him in battle?
That's interesting.
Yeah. He said, yes, you're allowed. And if you do slay him, if you do kill him in battle, you'd be rewarded spiritually for it.
Wow.
But if you kill him, that will curtail your worldly life.
Mm.
That will curtail. There's an objective. There's a real relation between parent and child.
So basically, it's going to jeopardize his
It'll
worldly
cut
life.
short his life in this world.
Yeah.
Killing his father, although it would be in pursuit of God's
Satisfaction.
commandment, right? But still, there's that real relationship between parent and child. That if this person goes ahead and kills his father, although justified, it will have that objective,
That negative effect.
that negative effect on him.
Yeah, that's
It
real.
will cut short his life
So
in
he
this world.
probably didn't do that.
Yeah. I think he didn't go through. Yeah. And that's why I say that's why Islam, I mean, so it's not, what I'm trying to say is that having children isn't it's not just for the societal benefits that it has. Okay. It's actually realizing one of the potentials of our being, having children and raising children well.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that. And that's why it's so conducive to happiness. If we conceive of happiness in its proper sense.
Yeah. I think intimacy should have a purpose, just like eating and drinking and sleeping. It has a purpose, right?
Right.
So the purpose of intimacy is procreation, basically. It's not just pleasure.
Marital intimacy, you mean? right?
Yeah.
Right.
That kind of intimacy. Just to be a little,
All right.
you know,
More specific.
conservative. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think people who just engage in marital intimacy just for the fun of it, they're wasting their time somehow. Not necessarily, but I mean, if they just keep on avoiding having children for no reason,
Mhm.
that's not acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
It might not be haram, but it's probably not something that is accepted in Islamic.
No, like I
belief.
said, there's, and that's because, like I said, there's that, as you pointed out, there's an instinctual drive in both men and women to have children.
But not in all of them.
In all people, actually in all animals, there's an
Animals,
instinctual drive to have children.
People, that's when they become intellectually mature and physically mature. But some people, they just don't have that feeling. I think that means that they haven't grown up yet.
They haven't grown up, and
they haven't reached that stage where they should feel the need to have children.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem starts, actually, in a lot of marriages that we have. We have men who don't want children. We have women who don't want children. And that's like a really bad thing right now. That's one of the banes of Islamic marriages right now.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue is, again, having a misconception of what happiness is. Okay. If you, like I said, if you buy into that, that Western conception, that Western illusion about what happiness is, definitely having children will be an obstacle to your happiness. But if you follow the instructions handed down to us by the Prophet, by the Imams, okay, that framework, that societal, that family framework, that obedience to those instructions, that framework that it gives us, I think that will sort of shape our mentality, shape our conception, and correct our conception. Okay? If you live a life based on faith, okay, I think in time and gradually, all right, you will feel childbearing as a virtue. Like you said, it's a type of maturity that you have to attain.
So, like, if you don't have that feeling yet, I don't think you're ready to get married yet. You have to have that feeling, because kids, they don't have such a feeling, do they?
Well, obviously you have to reach puberty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an element, there's a biological element to it.
Some people, they reach puberty, but still they don't want children.
Right.
So there's a problem there.
It's a part of a larger thing. It's a part of a larger thing. It's a part of a lifestyle. But I think, see, certain things, and this is what Islam and our scholars like Imam Khomeini, Allama Tabatabai, they reiterate this point in their works. A lot of the moral issues or moral wrongs that affect us, we can address them and rectify them in practice. So if you want to, what I'm saying is, if you like live your life with the wrong conception, okay, having bought into the Western conception of what happiness is, that feeling, that sense that you want to have children, that might never come. Okay.
Yeah. So it's your misconception of happiness that prevents you from having.
But if you're a Muslim, if you're a believer, Islam tells you that you have to have children, or at least you should try to have children. We just read the hadith, right?
Yeah.
Strive to have children. And there's a lot of rewards specified for parents or for couples who have children. Okay. Now, how can you address that? One of the ways that you can address that, and this is something that Imam Khomeini explains in his Hadith, Al-Mutabat explains in different places. One of the ways that you can rectify, or that we can rectify our misalignment with Islamic virtues, is through practice. You can't just sit down and meditate, okay, and try to somehow internalize the feeling of, oh, it's good to have children. You have to throw yourself into that issue headlong. Okay, and through the grace of God, that moral issue or that misconception that you have or that misalignment that you have with Islamic virtues will be addressed. Now you shouldn't go too far. I'm not saying that couples should go ahead and have multiple children.
Okay, Brother Dawood, where's the limit? Like, how many children should you have so that it's Islamically acceptable? Like, if I have 3 children or
the sky's the limit.
Or 5.
The sky's the limit.
No, I mean, like,
as many as you can handle. As many as you can handle.
At one point, you're like, okay, that's enough. I just can't have more children. It's like, I just,
exactly.
I don't have the capability of
right.
having more children. I can't provide for more children. It's like they still have problems with providing for those 4 children or 5 children.
Right.
So it's difficult for them to have another one.
Yeah. You shouldn't. I mean, it's a person by person thing. It's not. You can't. There's no general verdict that you can give for everyone. Okay, but I think parents or couples should always bear in mind, or they should have this in the back of their head, that having children is good. Okay, but you take it one step at a time. Have one child. Once you think you can handle another child, you have another child, and depending on financially how many you can handle, psychologically how many you can handle. That's also an important factor.
So what if someone says, I can't even handle one child?
Well, I mean, it's if they're.
What if they?
If that's, I mean, there are cases where, like, that might be the case. And like I said, usually when that happens,
but we
usually
have narrations.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion about what they're capable of. That's why I said, if you consider the rewards. Okay, if we consider the rewards, there's some incredible
rewards for having children, but someone feels that they don't have the funds to, provide for even one child. So what should they do? It's like they feel as if they have no choice. But my understanding is this, and this is what Islam says, and that, we have narrations that say that God, actually verses of the Quran, that says, do not kill your children. It says to the Arabs of the time of the Prophet, Allah will provide for them and for you.
And that's actually very pertinent. That's very pertinent to the question of abortion.
Yeah.
Right? That's a huge problem in the West. And unfortunately in many Muslim countries now. Out of fear of not being able to provide for their children or for other causes.
Abortion is haram.
It's definitely haram. It's one of the worst sins.
Yeah.
It's murder, basically.
No matter what, it's haram.
It's murder.
Whether you think that you can provide for your children financially or you just, for whatever reason.
And there is...
unless there is there is a pretext for it. Like some say that if
particular medical
mother's
causes,
child...
Yeah. If it threatens the mother's life. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Threatens the mother's child.
If it threatens the mother's life. Definitely in that case. But usually that's not when abortion is done. Okay. People do it they think they're not ready, or they think they won't be able to financially provide for the children.
Or if they're not married.
But a funny but interesting and insightful thing that I heard from one of the students of Ayatollah Bahjat, which is, I think, very, like I said, it's very interesting. And he said, the student of Ayatollah Bahjat said, the unwanted children are usually the ones who are the most beneficial for their parents.
For the unwanted ones.
The unwanted ones, not the ones that you plan for.
Yeah.
Okay. So children must be viewed as a source, as a divine blessing and as a source of happiness. And like I said, you can't just sit around and say, well, I'll wait a few years and see if I get the feeling for having children. No. Read what Imam Sadiq has to say, what the Prophet has to say about the virtues and the merits of having children. Okay, here's one one hadith, one report in this relation. This is from Imam Sadiq. One of the disciples of Imam Sadiq, Muhammad ibn Muslim, was very dear to Imam Sadiq. He went to Imam Sadiq one day, or he was with Imam Sadiq, and this other disciple of Imam Sadiq, Yunus ibn Yaqub, came to Imam Sadiq, and he was really tired. Yunus ibn Yaqub was really tired. So Imam Sadiq asked him, why are you so tired? And he explained that he just had a child, and he had to care for his child the night before, and so he wasn't able to get much sleep. Imam Sadiq, responding to what he just said, Imam Sadiq goes on to relate a hadith, a report from the Prophet, and it's a very interesting hadith. Imam Sadiq says that Gabriel, Hazrat Jibreel, the Archangel Gabriel, once came to the Prophet, and he found that the Prophet was really tired. He asked the Prophet, "O beloved of God, why is it that I see you fatigued?" Gabriel is asking the Prophet, why is it that I see you fatigued? And the Prophet explained that their children had been crying. They weren't able to get enough sleep the night before. And Gabriel replied to the Prophet, "O Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. O Muhammad, there will soon arise for this family followers, the crying of every one of whom is the equivalent of chanting, 'There is no God but God.' So when your child cries, every tear that
they drop,
every tear that flows down their face, it's for the parents of that child, it has the reward of saying La ilaha illallah until they are 7 years of age. And when they pass that age, the crying of the baby is a prayer of forgiveness for their parents.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
It's a cause whereby God, crying of the child, the parents aren't doing anything, but just the fact that they're caring for this child, and the child is crying now, God forgives the sins of the parents in virtue of the crying of the child. Their crying is a prayer of forgiveness for their parents until they reach the age of puberty. And once they pass the age of puberty, once the children pass the age of puberty, any good deed those children perform belongs, in addition to the children themselves, it also, that good deed that the child performs also belongs to the parents.
Yeah.
All right. So believers, I think, it's not enough to just sit around and wait until that feeling for having children suddenly emerges in them. I think it's by reading these reports, by reading the merits and the virtues and the benefits, spiritual and worldly, that having children can have for a married couple, they can at least go in that direction. Think about having children.
What if, like, one of the parents wants to have children and the other doesn't? What can be done? Like, the mother wants to have kids, the father doesn't, or vice versa.
It's a matter. I think it's a matter of dialogue. They need to reach an agreement. Okay.
Talk to one another. The father, does something, forces his wife
right
to have kids.
I don't think force is the right word for it. I mean, these are words that are, unfortunately, I think they're used a lot in the West.
He does this,
right,
even though she's not willing to have kids.
Well, you might say that from a strictly moral perspective, that might not be the best choice. But once she's pregnant,
she'll be pleased. She'll be satisfied.
She, by reading the sayings of the Prophet, by reading the words of the Prophet and the words of the Ahlul Bayt, I think, and I'm confident that they can reach a point where they will actually be welcoming toward their children. And like I said, that like this student of Ayatollah Bahjat said, the unwanted children are usually the ones that benefit their parents the most.
But we have certain specific laws that the jurists, they have said in the Risalas, that if a woman purposely stops her husband, and from having kids,
it's haram. From impregnating her.
Yeah, impregnated.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to.
So is that correct? What if it's the other way around?
Yeah, there are.
What if the woman wants to have
Those
children,
are those
but the
specifics
guy,
we have to refer to the Risala. Okay, I have to refresh my memory about those issues. Okay, and I don't want to get that specific. I want to, like Shaim Mutahadi says in his books, trying to resolve family issues based on only on the framework of the red lines mentioned in Risala is not the best way.
yeah.
Okay, those are the basically the red lines. Yes. Okay, but parents should try to reach consensus. Couples should try to reach consensus and agreement through mutual understanding, through dialogue, through
So
elevating
it's
their
not
understanding.
morally acceptable, even though it's not haram, but it's not morally acceptable, right? Can we say that?
Preventing herself from being impregnated by her husband?
Yeah.
Yes, generally not viewed positively, that's for sure. Now, whether it's haram, whether it's musab, I have to, I'm not sure right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another problem that we have in society, and that is the population of Muslims. And we're seeing a sharp decline in the population of Muslims right now because, Muslims, unfortunately, are also, they're having this mentality that having children is not a good thing, and it's an obstacle to happiness and success.
Exactly.
And as a result, the population is falling.
Dwindles,
the population of Muslims
it's falling off a cliff.
Yeah. So do you think what's the solution to this?
The solution is to realize that the Western conception of happiness, and I know I sound like I'm harping on this.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
That's the solution. God is showing us that I'm sorry. Let me. God is showing us that the end result of disobedience, broadly understood, of neglecting God's instructions, the end result of that is ruin for any society. Look what's happening in Japan. Look what's happening in America. Look what's happening in Europe. And unfortunately,
in Muslim countries.
And unfortunately now Muslim countries. Less so, but still they're moving that direction because they've bought into that Western conception of what happiness is, unfortunately. Okay? So the solution, theoretically it's simple. In practice, it's difficult. The solution is to realize that the only way to happiness, the only way to both material happiness and spiritual happiness, the only way to happiness is through obedience to God.
Yeah, but there has to be certain people who should enlighten people about these things.
That's what we're doing here.
I think they're not doing their job well.
Yeah. Well, I can't speak to them, but
there are very few scholars who are talking about these things.
Yeah.
And I think,
well, that's unfortunate. But as I mentioned in the previous episode, we need to change our perception of what wajibat and muharamat to what the mandatory guidelines of Islam are. If we understand the mandatory guidelines of Islam and their broader sense.
You keep saying we have to understand. I think we should make others understand as well.
We're part of the we're part of the problem too. Exactly. We're part of the
it's not just an issue of people themselves understanding these
exactly scholars. That's
others have to enlighten people and tell them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The truths about Islam.
That's one of the duties of scholars, people who study Islam. And they might be able to do a better job, and that's basically, hopefully that's what we're trying to achieve here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Brother Dawood, for being with us, and thank you for watching this episode. Until next time, I leave you in the care and protection of God Almighty. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.